Final Fantasy XIV Online is evolving. Nope, that's not clickbait. This is literally the tagline that director Naoki Yoshida and his team have been telling us as we're speeding towards the next expansion. You see, the Spring 2026 FanFest just wrapped up and Yoshi P just delivered one heck of a presentation chock full of details on where this 13-year-old MMO is going next. Now before I start yapping, I want to thank Square Enix for sponsoring this video. That said, to be very clear here, this is not a review. Rather, it's a look at Final Fantasy XIV's current state, its future, and the tragic lack of butt sliders. Anyway, with 30 million registered players around the world, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume that most of you have already played Final Fantasy XIV before. So, let's start with the good stuff and go through all those big announcements that happened on the stage recently. Yes? Oh, and welcome, by the way. I'm Mr. Holton. Now, let's dive right in. So right out the gate, the absolute biggest headline, of course, from the event is the brand new expansion dropping in January 2027, Evercold. We are finally leaving the vacation expansion behind and kicking off a completely new saga. In Evercold, we're hopping over to the fourth reflection, which is currently getting swallowed by a world-ending ice age. And yes, they showed off both in-game shots and concept art for a lot of the various locations we'll be visiting, and curiously, most of these places don't even show a hint of snow, with Yoshi P even teasing that one location could even be underground. Now, lore and theorizing aside, the thing that is going to fundamentally change how we experience this game is the combat overhaul. Indeed, Yoshi P and his team at Creative Studio 3 is addressing the 13 years of button bloat by splitting the combat system right down the middle. Moving forward with the release of the new expansion, we can soon toggle between two setups, Reborn mode and Evolved mode. Now, Reborn mode is exactly the system that we're using today. You know, the classic legacy rotation that we all know and live with. Now, Evolved mode, on the other hand, is a completely modernized, condensed, and somewhat simplified rotation that leans very heavily into your job identity. However, Mr. Yoshida made it very clear that this is not some watered-down easy mode. Actually, it apparently has a slightly higher skill ceiling than the Reborn mode. Plus, the two brand new original jobs coming in 8.0, that being a tank and a physical range DPS, are going to be built exclusively around this new evolved system. And as for what will actually be hitting with these new jobs, well, 8-player raids are finally getting a third difficulty level. Essentially, we're getting a middle ground between story mode and savage mode. Toss in the standard level cap increase to 110, a boatload of new instance dungeons, and huge upgrades to make open world fates, hunts, and treasure maps way bigger and more dynamic, and we are going to be incredibly busy this upcoming January. Oh, and then there's the new raid. Now for the next 24-player Alliance raid, Yoshi P decided to blow our collective minds by giving us a full-on Neon Genesis Evangelion crossover called Ghosts of Desire, with the original studio behind the Evangelion film series, Studio Khara, supervising the project. Which, obviously, is pretty huge, wouldn't you say? Combine this with Yoshi P being probably the single biggest fanboy of Evangelion, and, well, I'm feeling pretty confident in saying that they're definitely cooking with this one. Now, as per usual, Yoshi P and the team only provided a teaser image giving us a small glimpse of EVA 01, but the community is already mentally preparing for titanic mecha versus angel battles and the inevitable onslaught of catgirls with plug suits. Now, beyond the mechs, the new zones, and the plug suits virus that is most definitely going to spread in Limsa Lominsa, the folks at Creative Studio 3 also announced some pretty huge quality of life updates that fundamentally will fix the 13-year-old daily grind. Now, if you're a returning player who quit because you were tired of feeling chained to your dailies, listen up. Square Enix is officially rolling out an anti-burnout system. You see, instead of daily chores, progression is shifting to a weekly activity point system, with the goal here being to actually respect your time, meaning you can take a few days off without permanently falling behind the gear curve. On top of that, they are finally tearing down the data center walls as we are officially getting same region matchmaking, meaning your party finder is now going to pull from every single world across your entire region, which, well, obviously is just huge for queue times. Speaking of respecting your time, they're finally fixing one of the most annoying parts about leveling multiple classes. Moving forwards, the devs are evolving the armory system with what basically amounts to eye level transference, meaning whatever your highest item level gear score is on your main job, you can now automatically copy that value over to your other jobs when you switch. Oh, and just a quick heads up here for some terminology in the future. The team is rebranding the standard 2 patch cycles into seasons. Whoa there, don't panic, because as Yoshi P clarified, this isn't some FOMO battle pass mechanic, but strictly a naming convention to make the huge content schedule a little easier to understand. So, new content calendar, basically? Now, let's talk about the true endgame of Final Fantasy XIV. Looking fabulous in Limsa Lominsa. Because you see, the character creator is just like the other systems in the game, evolving. As soon enough, we are finally getting layered color sliders, meaning full-blown color wheels for hair, eyes, skin, and even tattoos. And we're also getting a highly customizable profile UI, which sounds like it's going to turn into a gloriously flamboyant MySpace page for your character. Now, a funny aside here, when Yoshi P and the team were going through questions from fans on stage, one person had the gall to simply ask butt sliders, which was pretty hilarious.
I'm in trouble. What?
Hold on.
Question?
Is this really a question?
As funny as this is though, it was a genuine question that Yoshi P promised he will bring up with the team once more. Because they have actually considered adding butt sliders. There is hope for our Hank Hill assets, yet, ladies and gentlemen. Also, obligatory dwarf kitten race. What do we know about them? Well, not a damn thing, other than them having fur beards. Move over, Loporits, you're old news. Alright, now, butt sliders, cat dwarves, and new content aside, should you just wait for January to come around, or should you do what I just did a couple of days ago and immerse yourself into the world of Final Fantasy XIV once more? Well, first of all, if you're new here and you've never played Final Fantasy XIV before, you should probably know that the game has, as of 28th of April, a completely free trial that includes the entire base game plus 3 entire frickin' expansions: Heavensward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. Now that is quite frankly insane. Especially when you consider the amount of game you're getting for absolutely no cost, except for your time. Because trust me, you'll be all out of time once this bad boy gets its hooks in you. You see, you don't just have metric tons of maps to explore, jobs to level, gear to find or craft, and dungeons and raids to conquer, you also have several hundreds, yes, I said it, several hundreds of hours of story content to experience. And well, I did say that this is not a review, and I'll stick to that. But you could already probably guess that I'm kind of a fan of this game's story. Just go and ask the Final Fantasy XIV community and you'll get a pretty clear answer on what to expect. But here's a hint: bring tissues. And remember to touch grass once in a while. Now, what if you're a returning player? What if you already cried your eyes out over Shadowbringers and Endwalker, you've taken a break, and you're just wondering what the game actually looks like right now in 2026? Well, aside from the fact that the game got a pretty big graphical update not too long ago, duty support replacing your need to sit and wait for dungeon queues to pop, and the Arcadian raid tier testing your limits, and the fact that they just announced a brand new Kefka Ultimate raid, Dancing Mad, that will be releasing in patch 7.51, the biggest update is actually in the true endgame that I mentioned before. Fashion, baby. You see, the devs finally gave in to the community and nuked the old glamour restrictions. That is to say, glamoring is now completely free form, and you can pick essentially any look you want, no matter the job you main. But Also, there's just layers upon layers of new content to explore and quality of life updates out the wazoo, and I'd probably have to stand here all day talking about half the stuff added to the game post-Dawn Trail. With patch 7.5 Trail to the Heaven setting the stage and laying down the narrative tracks that lead directly into the Evercold expansion, right now is the ultimate prep phase for, well, everyone. If you decide to jump in today, by the time January rolls around, you won't just be caught up, you'll be geared, extremely fabulous, and mentally prepared to get emotionally wrecked once again. So whether you are starting fresh or dusting off your old main, there is genuinely no better time to log in than right now and experience the evolution of Final Fantasy XIV in real time. Check the link in the description or in the pinned comment below to continue or to start your absurdly huge adventure in Final Fantasy XIV today. Thank you again to Square Enix for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you guys in Limsa. This has been Mr. Holton, signing off.